Good morning, everybody. Welcome to OptionPit.com. Here's your morning vol report. It's I, Andrew Giovinazzi, Chief Operating Officer of OptionPit.com, welcoming you to our vol report. Also, we are having a Saturday class coming up on weekly options, so check that out. You should be getting a notice soon for everybody that's a subscriber. If you're not, letting me know. Our Pro Trader Summit will be a great event, actually giving you things to take away that you could use to help you trading. We'll be in Chicago June 12th to 15th. Send a note to marketoptionpit.com or androidoptionpit.com if you have questions. You can sign up here. And I think we have a couple spaces left, but not many. So anyway, early bird tickets will be gone after March 31st. And with that, let's take a look at what just, real simply, we had a massive rally yesterday on what let's just call it the let's just call it the trade war, no trade war, however it is. Again, below 2,600, right? That was a pretty good sell-off we had, and the market we're just kind of sitting, right? I think one of the reasons why maybe is because the trade war is not as bad as we thought, but we're still not quite sure what the heck is going on. So the way I think about it, from a vol point of view, market point of view, we have earnings coming out. When are all the big earnings coming? Okay, what has been driving the market, I think, is technology. So if you want to try to find a broader trend, if we look at something like Facebook, which it looks like it's starting to bounce out of its, torpor, I guess. But again, vol's pretty high in here. But if you look at when our earnings calendar is, right? So when are things going to start, right? Cisco, okay, we have Cisco April 4th, right? Then you're going to that's a dividend. Yeah, we just had Cisco in the cycle. JP Morgan, Bank of America, Netflix, Goldman, IBM, GE, Google, and AT&T, and then we'll get into Microsoft. So, early April, as far as all that goes, a lot of the big tech names like Microsoft, Apple, all that stuff are going to be later in the cycle. So the first look we're really going to get at any technology, IBM hasn't been a great bellwether. eBay is more semi-payment processing and processing. GE, but April 23rd, that will probably be, I think earnings will change the tone of what we have for the market lately. I don't know how much moving back and forth we're going to do in the meantime, but just FYI, if anything is going to start to bring vol down, it will be good earnings. You can't have volatility coming down when the S&P 500, drops 4 or 5% and then lifts 3% again. It's very, very hard for all that to happen. So from that point of view, what are some things to look for? This is starting to slow down the backwardation to cash. But again, the VXX right now is still very much the April future, and it's still being pulled up. So until this goes away, I think VXX as a product is kind of stuck. We need to see this real cash go down and find a place. So, we're going to need days of sustained, not much going on. You're going to see 1 to 2 point drop in VIX. I think VIX is up. Let me see here. Let's get it was just up. It's pulled off a little bit, but you see there's like a separation of the two. That's because you got to get that cash back to the future before VXX can do anything. Once VIX starts to drop below, and that's what I want to see, right? Because you're looking at around 19.5. So from a vol point of view, if you want to start to see a vol trend, I would say VXX right now is kind of trendless, at least for right now, until we get a pull one or another. If anything, VXX is being pulled up slowly, and then that could go away. Now, when VIX drops from this level, it will be a while. So if you look forward, right now, the vol is looking into late April. which is kind of right the meat of where all the big earnings are, that could, I guess affect market performance one way or the other. So vol as a directional trade, you have to be very selective because we could have fits of, down 3-4% in a vol product, and then you might have something tradable. But for right now, the tone is still more on the upside, but sideways until that changes. So I think there's a little more action in the individual names. We looked at bounce plays in Facebook. I still like them. I like out of the money time spreads. Apple as well. So again, you've got most of these stocks, okay, and they were at pretty high levels. But as you get back into earnings, you're looking for time spreads and things like that. There's still a lot of volatility in these things. And I think a lot of the short-term vol in the April cycle really isn't pricing that. So that's a possibility as well there. So time spreads, owning some calls, maybe a couple of junk puts look interesting, like in an Apple and a Facebook. Even with Apple, I think a nice trade in there. Midterms, like you could sell put spreads and you could buy in the money VIX call spreads. That seems to me a good arb for a little credit. That's not too bad of an idea if you want some protection there. And lastly, I would just say something I'm starting to build a little position in is GE, a really much longer term, like 6 months out type of thing. Don't know where it's going to go, but I think I can finance it by selling put spreads. So this is a possibility. I don't know if it's the bottom yet, but anything I would still stay kind of be a hedged position. So those are ideas as far as short term. I also think, time spreads in the indexes, because I think it's going to be very hard for VIX to go down hard. So if you can look at short-term time spreads that produce a lot of theta, I think you'd have potential there. Look for a hedge with the delta. But it's going to be hard for VIX to totally collapse, and it's going to do so rather slowly. So if you keep a relatively short date on the time spread, I think you might have a good shot there. So I don't think those trades are going away. That's what kind of the market is giving us right now. And with that, don't forget, we do have that weekly class coming up. And again, any questions, send me a note at andrew@optionpit.com. All right, bye-bye.